Hello everyone, welcome back to High Tech Institution YouTube channel. Now I am planning to start a new playlist. This is exclusively for scenario based AWS interview questions with answer. Yeah, in YouTube you can see so many interview based videos, but this playlist I am planning to make somewhere around 10 to 15 different videos, everything with scenario based approach, guys. Okay, I think very rare to find, because if you go on interview today, everywhere people are asking a live real project oriented scenario based interview questions. Okay, that is really important. So that is the reason I am come up with a plan. This is part one video. Each and every video, right, I am planning to cover 5 different scenarios with the respective answers as well. Okay, so I need your dedicated support for this entire playlist, which will boost for creating upcoming more videos. Okay, if you really like the video, please give your comment in the comment section and also subscribe to this channel. Okay, let's get started with the scenario number 1. Here is the question. You are running a critical application on AWS and it suddenly experienced increase the traffic due to marketing campaign. The application starts to slow down and you need to ensure it can handle the increased load. What AWS service or feature would you use and how would you set it up? Basically what they are trying to say, you have an application, okay, which running in the AWS, suddenly, right, it increased due to you have running any marketing campaign or any offers going on in your application, due to which your traffic is increased. Okay, so your application start slow down. So people who are accessing your application, right, which has started slowing down. So literally, right, so your load is a bit more increased. Usually 100 people will access your application. Now 500 people are accessing your application. Now the question is, what AWS service or feature you would use to ensure better performance of your application? That is the scenario all about. What is the answer for this? Boom. This is the answer. Okay, I would use auto scaling to automatically adjust the number of EC2 instances based on the traffic. I would set up a CloudWatch alarm to trigger scaling when certain metrics like CPU utilization or request count exceed the threshold. This ensures the application can handle the increased load and maintain performance. Okay, this is a simple question only, but when they ask in the interview, they will cover up with some scenario which will made a bit more complex to understand the question, but answer is very simple. See, in order to configure the auto scaling feature in AWS, the auto scaling will ensure whenever there is a higher utilization, higher request counts are reaching our threshold, it will automatically spin up one more additional support EC2 instance, okay, which will balance the load. Okay, this will ensure my application can handle, even though the place where 100 requests comes, where right now exactly 500 requests comes, means it will spin up a couple more EC2 instances, which will ensure the loads are adjusted between those auto scaling newly provisioned EC2 instances. This will maintain the good performance as well. Okay, this is the answer. All right, hope you enjoyed the scenario 1. We are having 4 more scenarios. I'll explain now. Okay, let's jump to scenario number 2. Here is the question. You have been asked to design a highly available and fault tolerant architecture for a new e-commerce website. How would you architect using AWS service? This is the most common question, guys. But the people, right, whenever you face an interview, they'll give you a scenario like this. The e-commerce website, there is a scenario. They're asking you to architect the highly available and fault tolerance architecture. Now as an architect, as a cloud engineer, AWS guy, you need to ensure the very good architecture you need to explain to them. Okay, question would be very simple, but this question, the way you answer, right, the interviewer will identify and he will get almost all your experience in AWS, the way you answers. Okay, again, let's get started with the answer. Okay, yep, here is the answer. I would use multiple availability zones for redundancy, a combination of Amazon RDS, multi-AZ and read replicas for the database. Amazon ELB for the load balancing and distribute asserts via Amazon CloudFront for content delivery. This setup would ensure high availability and fault tolerance. Basically what they are trying to say, almost they are combined, first thing, when come to high availability, we need to ensure availability zones matter. When you talk about availability zone, when we create a AWS VPC, your subnet should be placed in different availability zone. US West, if you imagine you have a region, you are using US West, US West 1A, US West 1B, US West 1C, like your subnet should be available in multiple availability zone. If one availability zone goes down, also still you have a two other to function. Okay. Also, we need to use RDS for the database connectivity. So multi-AZ and read replicas need to be enabled for the RDS. Okay. So where your e-commerce is the front-end application, back-end, the data all get stored in the RDS. Okay. Where if you come to RDS, AWS gives you a bunch of backup and high availability functionality for RDS as well. So when you are exposing your application, right, the right way, you would prefer to go with ELB. Okay. Where AWS, they have a multiple different load balancing strategies are available. Classic load balancer, application load balancer, network load balancer, gateway load balancer. Mostly for e-commerce side, I would prefer to go application type of load balancer. You can pick that and you can ensure our application is exposed with application load balancer. And finally, the people, okay, who's accessing from outside a different country, different location, the content delivery is matters. For that, AWS itself having a service for Amazon CloudFront. Okay, when you ensure your content delivery, you use CloudFront, that will be a top notch. Okay, this setup, right, will ensure your e-commerce website will be highly available and fault tolerance as well. Okay, so this is the answer for the scenario 2. Okay, we have last 3 more scenario in this video because I said there are 5 scenario we are planning to cover, right? Let's switch over to the scenario number 3. Okay, AWS scenario based interview and questions we are seeing. Let's switch over to the scenario 3. Yeah, here is the question. Your company wants to securely share sensitive document with the external partner. How would you design a solution using AWS service to accomplish this? Somehow, imagine you have a company currently, you have external partners or external vendor or third party, any companies you are tied up with. For the time being, you need to share some sensitive document or any sensitive data with them. So of course, if they are within our organization, yeah, we can create on service account or any users or any role based. We can provide them a IAM permission. We can ask them to access our data. That's not an issue. But now the case is they are external partner, third party, not within our organization. Now, how will you design a solution to achieve this? Any guess? Yeah, let's see the answer. Yep. I would create a secure AWS S3 bucket to store the documents and configure it with proper access policies. To grant access to external partners, I would use pre-signed URL for the time-limited access and potentially integrate AWS identity and access management IAM role for the temporary access. Encrypting data at rest and it also crucial for security. Simple guys, when you have a data, as usual, here I am considering to have my data in AWS S3 bucket only. Simple. Okay. With properly I have added the bucket policy and properly I have added all the security basic stuff in my S3 bucket. I have stored my data. There is an option, there's something called pre-signed URL. I don't know how many of you are aware of it. If you are not, maybe I can create, who all need pre-signed URL as a dedicated video with a practical explanation. May highlight in the comment section. I'll make one dedicated video for that. Okay, based on your request. But anyway, there is an option called pre-signed URL. Based on IAM role, right, we can create some temporary access to our S3 bucket. We can share that pre-signed URL. From there, right, my external partner can download my data, whatever I would like to share with them. And also the bucket, encrypting data at rest. The bucket should be encrypted with the KMS key. Since S3 has default encryption, we do have a option to encrypt with KMS key as well. You can encrypt it using any one of the encryption strategy and mechanism. That will add your crucial data is securely available to them. Okay. Here the pre-signed URL is matters. Okay, so this is how we can share the data securely with external partners. Make sense? So we'll go on to the scenario 4. Here is the question for you. You are responsible for monitoring the performance and health of your AWS resources. What AWS service and tool would you use, and how would you set up a monitoring for that? Simple. End of day, it's monitoring only. Question looks very simple, but imagine yourself. Before I answer it, pause this video now. Try to answer yourself before you understand the answer. Very basic question. But the reality is people are struggling, because I took so many interviews. So what I felt, the people are struggling to answer even a small question. That is the issue which made me to create these kind of scenario based interview questions. Because when I researched in YouTube, there are so many interview questions around. They are direct questions. Okay, how to create load balancer, how to create EC, how to create VPC. Though that is not an interview question actual in reality. In reality, people are targeting you with this scenarios only. Okay, so you are responsible for monitoring the performance and health of your AWS resources. What AWS service and tool would you use, and how would you set up for monitoring? What is the answer? Here is the answer. I would use Amazon CloudWatch for monitoring, which can collect and track metrics for various AWS services. To set up monitoring, I would create CloudWatch alarm to trigger the notification or automatic action when specific threshold are breached. Additionally, I might use AWS config to access resource configuration and changes. Okay. Basically, we have a inbuilt CloudWatch service available for monitoring, guys, in AWS itself. Okay, which will collect when you configure, which will collect, and it will ensure the utilization, and it will take care of monitoring your resources. Even let's take an EC2 instance, EBS volume, load balancer, whatever it is. If you set up an CloudWatch proper monitoring, either you can go and configure the dashboard as well in CloudWatch. Okay, in addition to that, you can set up a CloudWatch alarm as well. Okay, in the alarm, I have my critical servers running, okay, which reaches 80% of utilization, means we'll set up a trigger. Alarm will be notifying through SNS. I'll be get notified. Hey, see, your server is utilized, 80% of utilization has been done. So go ahead and do some needfulness. Like, we can do it manually after seeing an email, or we can automate it by integrating with Lambda and all. We can automate it. Okay. Additionally, right, we have a AWS config. That is another interesting service. Very limited people knows about AWS config. Again, I'm telling, if anybody wanted to know more about AWS config, mention in the comment section AWS config. I'll create a dedicated video with the practical explanation. Okay, to access resource configuration and changes. What are the changes has been done? Okay, what are the configuration exercise we had earlier? Those information we can pick it from AWS config. Okay, so we'll ensure our environment is monitored with the CloudWatch, and proper alarms are configured for the critical services. Okay, this is the answer for the scenario 4. And we have one last scenario. Before going to the one last scenario, there are one very good information to the people. Okay, the information is all about, you all know, I'm planning to start one internship program, guys. I'm planning to start one internship program. This internship program exclusively for practical thing. Okay, because in this video you are getting theoretical content, but when you wanted to practice it, right, so I'm going to give you daily basis one live project scenario to you in the internship program. Okay, so how it will be like around 1 month of duration it is. Daily I need 1 hour of your commitment. It could be morning or evening, afternoon, whenever you are free, whichever the country you are located, that's not a matter. I need 1 hour of commitment to you. So what you need to do, daily basis in online, either through email or through WhatsApp, I'll be sharing you the internship task to you. Daily basis client requirement, I'll share it to you. In your AWS account, okay, we'll set up a free tier account. On the AWS account, you need to implement that. Okay, I will log into your account, I will validate it whether you have completed the task properly or not. Daily basis I'll give Monday to Friday, the weekly 5 days, right? I'll give you a task. Daily new scenarios you'll have to implement in your account. I'll validate it. Every Friday I'll connect you in live. Okay, so I'll validate. I mean, if you have any questions or doubt, if you successfully completed and implemented the scenario, that's fine. if you are stuck anywhere, you are not able to do, in live, I'll jump in, I'll explain you in every Friday. Okay. So what is the prerequisite for being part of this AWS internship program? So you should know AWS concept, basic at least. Okay, you should have one degree and you should know the basic concept of AWS. Only then you can understand the task what I'm giving it to you. Okay, so very limited seats are available per internship program. I'm planning to take 10 members. Okay, not more than that. And the program fees, the training, the entire internship program, it's not a training. I'll not come, I'll not take you sessions and all. Only directly I'll assign you a task. If you are working in a live project, what kind of task you will get? I'll directly assign you a task. You'll have to complete and show me. If you're stuck anywhere, I'll help you on. That is the way we are planning to have it. Limited seats are available. 4,999 I have decided for batch for the entire internship program. I think it will be very minimal. It should be. Let's see. And whoever interested, right, you can see registration can be, you can just WhatsApp to this number 93-604-77164. You can WhatsApp to this number so that I'll be adding you into my internship program batch. All right, let's get started. I think this will be really a good hands-on experience to you. If anybody not having good hands-on, make use of this opportunity. That is what all I wanted to say. Okay, so finally we are going to complete the scenario 5. In this scenario, right, your company is planning to migrate an on-premises application to AWS. What factors and steps would you consider in the migration process? So a company from on-premises, right, they are planning to migrate an application to AWS. From on-prem to AWS cloud, the application comes in. Which are the things you will consider before migrating or after migration or during the migration? Here is the answer. Migration involves accessing the application for compatibility, performance and dependencies. I would create an inventory of an on-premises resources and select an appropriate migration method. Example, there are 2-3 are given: rehost, replatform, refactor. Design the AWS architecture and perform a pilot migration and then execute full migration. Consideration include data migration, networking, security and cost analysis. Simple, guys. So they are not asking you to do the migration. They are simply asking you what are the precaution, what are the things you would consider while you do a migration. First thing, right, we need to take a inventory. Okay. So literally, what are the things I'm gonna migrate? Exactly what I need to migrate from on-premise. That clarity you should need before you start anything. Then once you take an inventory, you need to consider the compatibility. Okay, in on-premise this version is executing. In AWS, whether that is compatible or not. How are we going to deal the performance? Is there any dependency whether it is available in AWS or not? After taking inventory, you need to think these 3 directions. Once done, then you need to plan for a pilot migration. So where you need to migrate any one simple non-critical and non-impact application. If everything successfully migrated, then you plan for the full migration. Okay, and finally you need to consider whether all the data, how are we going to transfer the same on-prem network setup, how are we going to plan in the AWS cloud. Here I have a firewall and security things, how we need to plan and design in the AWS side. And here this much cost I'm spending, it's supposed not exceed in the cloud. So how are we going to plan it? These are the things you should have as a key, as a handy before you process for the migration. All right, fine, guys. Hope you like these 5 scenarios. I need your support. Okay, so if you need any other scenarios, right, if you have any more idea, mention in the comment section. So what I will do, I am planning to make almost 10 videos in this playlist. Actually, this is a video number 1, part 1. I'm gonna make 9 more videos. I'll include that your content in that, any one of the video. Okay, if you really like the video, give me a like and subscribe to this channel. Okay, so many people are watching the video but not subscribing. I would really request you to subscribe this channel, so that will motivate me to make more content like this, useful content like this. Okay, and anybody looks for a hands-on, try to be part of the this specific internship program, so you will be really benefited with good hands-on. Okay, and in the description, in this video description, I'll be mentioning one WhatsApp channel link. That's our own WhatsApp channel link. You can click the link and join the WhatsApp channel. So daily basis, right, you will get some interview updates and interview oriented questions and answer. All those things are being posted in that WhatsApp channel. You will get benefited in that. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Thank you everyone. We'll meet you on part 2 video.